betrayed by my father, and the calculated revenge that changed everything. I was 10 the first time I realized my father didn't love me. It happened at the school science fair. I ran toward him, trophy in hand, heart pounding with excitement. "You did well," he said, his tone flat, detached, almost mechanical. "But this is nothing extraordinary. Try harder." I remember that moment vividly, the way his eyes didn't sparkle with pride, the way his words cut sharper than any insult I'd ever known. I promised myself then, silently, that one day he would regret underestimating me. As the years passed, I tried to please him, hoping for approval that never came. I graduated with top honors in engineering. I worked long nights, built small projects, designed algorithms, each time dreaming of the day he would finally say, "I am proud of you." But that day never came. By 25, I had built Aegis AI, an algorithm capable of predicting markets, optimizing businesses, even outmaneuvering the most cunning CEOs. It was more than technology. It was the manifestation of years of determination fueled by humiliation, loneliness, and a desperate need for recognition. At a gala surrounded by the city's wealthiest, I presented my creation. Investors nodded, journalists whispered in awe, and there he was, my father, Richard Vallon, watching from across the room, expressionless as ever. "You think this is impressive?" he asked, the arrogance dripping from his words. "This childish invention will get you nowhere. You are not worthy of my empire or my attention." Humiliation washed over me like a wave. I felt it in my chest, in my hands, but I swallowed it, locked it away. That night, lying awake in a hotel room, I vowed revenge. Not just to prove him wrong, but to make him understand the cost of neglecting the son he had. I vanished for 7 years. Alex Vallon ceased to exist. In his place, I became Alex Crane, a ghost in the tech world, a phantom presence building power in secret. I learned every skill I would need: finance, law, strategy, negotiation. I studied my father's empire, cataloged every weakness, every arrogance, every misstep he had ever made, every insult, every harsh word, every moment of neglect became fuel. I built alliances with former colleagues, investors, even journalists. Slowly, imperceptibly, I inserted myself into the very heart of the empire he believed I had abandoned. Meanwhile, my father continued in his arrogance, believing I had failed. "What is he doing now?" he asked my mother one night, his voice dripping with disdain. "He's nothing. I built him a future, and he threw it away." He had no idea. Every handshake I made, every deal I structured, every meeting I attended was part of a strategy. Slowly, the cracks in his empire began to show. Rumors of mismanagement spread. Board members began to doubt his judgment. Investors hesitated. I remember the first time I heard the whispers. My father's empire, the thing he had built and adored, was vulnerable. And I was patient, because revenge is never about striking immediately. It is about waiting, planning, and striking at the perfect moment. Lena, brilliant and unflinching, stood by me through it all. She was my confidant, my strategist, my anchor. Together, we ensured that every move was calculated, precise, and unavoidable. She would often remind me, "The moment you let emotion drive you, the plan falls apart. Be the storm, Alex, but the storm they cannot see coming." And so we waited. 7 years of preparation became a single day of reckoning. The day arrived during a board meeting I had orchestrated. He didn't recognize me at first. When I walked in, he froze. You're Alex Vallon?" he stammered, disbelief etched into every line of his face. "No," I said calmly. "I am Alex Crane, and I am here to reclaim what was always mine." I laid out everything: financial negligence, reckless investments, poor leadership decisions. Every error, every weakness, cataloged meticulously over 7 years, presented with undeniable evidence. The vote was unanimous. The man who had once belittled me, ignored me, and broken me was forced out of the empire he had once controlled. That night, I confronted him in his penthouse, the city lights sprawling beneath us. You're my son?" he whispered, fear creeping into his voice. "I am Alex Crane," I said, steady and cold. "And I am the consequence of your betrayal." I recounted every moment of neglect, every insult, every second of humiliation. He tried manipulation, threats, even his old charm, but none of it worked. I had become the man he could never control. The empire was mine, but victory wasn't just about wealth or power. Revenge reshaped me. Pain became patience. Humiliation became strategy. Neglect became determination. I realized something fundamental. The son he betrayed had outgrown the boy he had crushed. Sometimes I wonder if revenge truly heals, or if it simply transforms us into someone unrecognizable. But one thing was certain. No man, not even a father, can escape the consequences of underestimating his own child. I had taken what was mine. I had reclaimed my dignity, my power, my place in the world. And as I stood in the office overlooking the city skyline, I felt something I hadn't felt in decades: peace. Not because I had destroyed him, but because I had risen above the pain he had inflicted. I looked out over the city, imagining my life moving forward. My father would live with the memory of underestimating me for the rest of his days. And I would live with the knowledge that I had transformed my pain into power. The lesson was clear. Betrayal can break you, but it can also forge you. And the son who was once cast aside can become a storm the world cannot ignore. As I left the penthouse, I didn't feel hatred. I felt clarity. I had finally understood that the true victory wasn't in revenge. It was in creating a life so compelling, so undeniable, that the world had no choice but to acknowledge me. I had become everything he had refused to see, and nothing could ever take that away. And in that moment, I whispered to the empty room, "This is what happens when you betray your own child."